All right, welcome back to Tulsiology. My name is Dave. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Quick little information nugget for you. I do have a secondary political channel that I have started called The Real Issue Observer, which is a spin-off of my music channel, which is called The Real Music Observer, where commentary is a little more generic. I'd like you to subscribe to that one if you're a little less Tulsi oriented, and I'd like you to stay here, obviously, if you enjoy the commentary about Tulsi Gabbard. This channel is not going away, so please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Tulsi Gabbard is doing a great job, as usual, in Congress. She's doing the people's business, and she just put out this video, and I'm going to play it for you.
Every single one of us as Americans are guaranteed basic fundamental rights and freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution. But we cannot take these freedoms for granted. I've introduced legislation to stand up for and to protect brave whistleblowers who've come forward to expose illegal actions within our own government or egregious abuses of power, and to reform the Espionage Act to make sure that if a whistleblower is prosecuted under the Espionage Act, that they will have their fair day in court, something that is currently not allowable under the law as it stands today. So first, I introduced HRES 1162 with my colleague, Congressman Matt Gaetz, that very simply calls on our government to drop all charges against Edward Snowden for the actions that he took in the public interest to expose a mass government surveillance program on all.
Okay, so what I think is awesome about this is it's both Snowden and then Assange and then the Espionage Act.
Americans that violates our privacy and civil liberties and that courts deemed illegal more than once. I also introduced HRES 1175 with my colleague Congressman Tom Massey, which calls for the same action, for the government to drop all charges against Julian Assange, who also acted in the public interest as he published information to expose lies and egregious abuses of power in our own government. Last but not least, I introduced a bill, HR 8452, to reform the Espionage Act.
Okay, so let me just play a little bit more of this.
Daniel Ellsberg was the first person prosecuted under the 1917 Espionage Act for his act of bravery in releasing the Pentagon Papers to the Washington Post to publish classified documents that exposed the lies that were being told to the American people about what was really happening in the.
All right, so and see, this is the kind of stuff that people on the left used to do, by the way, back in the 1970s. Mike Gravel, who ran a presidential campaign for a little while, mostly run by some young people that got a hold of his ideas and said, hey, Mike, you would be a great presidential candidate this time around. And technically he ran, and he was ignored by the Democratic Party. When he ran in 2008, he was pretty much ignored by the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party no longer stands for civil liberties and the things that they used to stand for. And that's troubling because I actually miss that Democratic Party. I didn't agree with everything that they wanted to do as a party, but you could kind of rely on them for sticking up for free speech. And you have to reform this Espionage Act where you're not going to be prosecuted in a way that pretty much puts your life in jeopardy because you've told secrets. And what you hear a lot of times from the neolibs and the neoconservatives is that, oh, well, that person is a national security risk, blah, blah, blah. I tell you what, our military is a national security risk most of the time because they're doing things in our name. Think of it. We vote for politicians. They appoint people into the military, all right? We don't elect those people into the military. They're appointed, and then they do things in our name. They bring the American flag with them. They plant it and say, yes, we need to change this particular democracy into something that resembles America more, And so we need to, change dictators, okay? And we've been doing this, I don't know how long, honestly. Probably, in some cases, probably close to 70 or 80 years, And I get World War II, I get that. But after that, we became like the world's policemen, and we are not really stopping. We haven't stopped under Trump. Trump has better rhetoric, obviously, than the last few presidents have had, and he hasn't gotten us into any new conflicts, which I guess is looked at as a victory these days. It's kind of funny that that's looked at as a victory, but that's where we're at now. Tulsi Gabbard, just watching her in this video, I say to myself, what went wrong with the American people not noticing her? I understand that the media has amazing power, but as people, we need to rise up and go around this media complex. We need to speak to each other about Tulsi Gabbard. She's starting an organization, which I think could lead to something. We don't know what that's going to entail. Maybe we need to start a draft Tulsi movement. I mean, this election is a joke. You've got a guy who pulls stunts and is like the greatest show on earth, and then you've got a guy who's like comatose, and he's going to lead the free world, going to be 79 years old next year, and probably has some kind of onset dementia or Parkinson's or something. All right? He's not sharp, and this is who we're going to put in the Oval Office. We could have had this person here who is, the epitome of the American dream. All right? She came from humble beginnings, and, she's picking up trash on the beach. I mean, if you look at her, I'm just rambling, and I'm sorry. This is just depressing that. And she works across the aisle. And yeah, she quoted Project Veritas the other day. Oh no. She's against human trafficking. So apparently that makes her QAnon. And that's become a thing now. Because if you're against human trafficking, now you're a member of a conspiracy group or a silent group that puts out... I don't even understand the whole Q phenomenon. I don't. I understand it, but these people are all looking up toward Q for help, and Q's not going to save you, all right? We need to save ourselves. It's service, actually, before self in order to get saved from what these people are doing to us. That's why Tulsi Gabbard's platform was so refreshing and different, and everybody who tries to pigeonhole her... And by the way... the TYT channel has got to knock it off. They've got to knock it off. If they want to elect Joe Biden, then focus on Biden. No need to smear Tulsi Gabbard, all right? Go elect Joe, even though you told us, no, not Joe, and it became Joe because, Bernie gave his support and so forth, and Joe Biden's just going to be Hillary Clinton. That's it. I mean, maybe he's nicer than Hillary Clinton. That's about all you've got. He's only nicer if he can, keep his wits about himself. Because, people who go into this kind of, decline often get very angry and frustrated when they can't complete a thought. So, in any event, Tulsi Gabbard, again, hitting it out of the park. And I may just have to write her name on the ballot somewhere. All right, I'm done. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll talk to you soon.